If I told you that I have found the doorway to the Garden of Eden, would you believe me? Or if I said I have found the stairway to heaven, would you believe me? And the reason I'm using those words right now is because I just wrote a little poem about what was coming through, and I thought it would be a nice thing to talk about. So when I say that, the truth is that there is no doorway and there is no door. And also there is no staircase and there are no steps. However, when we are outside of the door or outside of heaven, it seems like there is a door and a doorway and a staircase and steps. And that we need to do something to go through that. That's what we're all doing. And it's a lot of work we spend doing that because we want to get back to God, to Eden, to heaven. That's the longing we feel in our hearts. And it is a worthy longing that I have talked about. And I just find it so, the more I talk about it, the more clarity comes through. And it's just so lovely to just be the outlet for something. And I'm learning about it as I do that. So there's a few concepts I want to talk about. One is that is from the Gospel of Thomas, which I've talked about, which is heaven is spread all over the world and man cannot see it. So basically, heaven, or the Garden of Eden, is all over, everywhere, right here where you are, right here where I am. It's of course the I am that is heaven and that is the garden. But we cannot see it. And the reason we can't see it because we are looking through a veil. The veil of illusion or the simulation. It's also called the matrix or the dark light, I think it's called. There are many, many, many words for this thing that is not real, that doesn't really exist, but it feels real to every single one of us. And what we're doing is we're trying to fix that false light, that matrix, so we can live a more comfortable life. And my goodness, may we be blessed. How much time have we spent doing that? And we're still in the matrix. Mostly, I'm sure many of us here also are dipping into the garden or to heaven, but somehow we keep being pulled out again. And fair enough, that seems to be how it is for now. Now, this false light or this matrix, it is very, very deceptive. And for me, it's really helpful to know that, to really make that something that I'm aware of, so I do not get pulled into it. And if there was any effort that needs to be taken, for me, that's it. It's the effort of recognizing over and over again that I'm living in a matrix, in a false light, in a simulation, an overlay, a veil of illusion. That is what we are seeing. And because we're only seeing that simulation that we are in, we cannot see that heaven is spread all over the earth. But it is. It's everywhere. It cannot not be there. And that includes your and my experience. If we ever doubt it, I step back and go like, okay, what I'm seeing is a simulation or an overlay. Now let me be still and let heaven or Eden show itself to me. I have a deep longing to be there, a really, really deep longing. And I'm very grateful for that, because that is what keeps pulling me out of the illusion and back into reality, which is now, just now, not tomorrow, not yesterday. Come back to now. Come back to my longing to be in Eden. And what does that mean? Peace, relaxed, love, ease, all the things that we do not find in the veil, in the illusion. Doesn't exist there. The illusion is duality. There will always be battle and conflict, because that is what it is made of. It's when we left the Garden of Eden of oneness, we moved into duality. That's when there's peace and war, sickness and health, up and down, poverty and abundance. You see, that is happening in the veil. That's what the veil is made of. But the veil is not real. Remember, it is an illusion. It is, well, it is real in our mind, in our five senses, because that is what we are experiencing the illusion through or as. So when I said I have found the doorway to the Garden of Eden, it is true, but there is no door, but I have found how to move through the illusory door. And then I'm there. And that is what I'm saying here. It's like, do not touch the duality. And it doesn't happen overnight. My goodness, I've been at this forever. And I think energetically, what is happening in the universe on our planet Earth, that is that the energies are kind of, I don't know, the frequencies seem to be getting higher in a way where the contraction is opening up, it's softening so that we can see what is here. So here, it's like, you know, heaven is spread all over the earth and I cannot see it because I'm like this. And then when it starts softening a little bit, then I go like, oh, what is that? Oh, but it's not seen with my eyes. It's seen from within, from the sixth sense, the soul sense, the heart, the now moment. So every time we land in and as now, in and as our heart, in and as I am, our own presence, the vision broadens. There's like, oh, you sense something that you don't sense when we're like this. And of course, the thing is that we had left the Garden of Eden when we ate from that tree of the knowledge of good and evil, right? We took a bite and then suddenly we were in duality, and we closed the imaginary door to Eden, to the Garden of Eden, to heaven. And we turned around and we're looking away from that. So that's why we can't see it. Our vision, our attention is away from it. But again, there is no door or doorway. We just need to come back. And then we realize, oh, this was here all the time. What was I thinking? Well, I was thinking dualistic thoughts of tomorrow, survival, all that stuff. And then we do not put our attention on what is really already here. So it's a sweet thing. It's very sweet. And when we come to a place where we are really miserable, right? That's usually what it takes before we go like, there must be something else. This can't be true. And then if you're lucky, then you start going within. It's like, well, what do I really want? What do I really want? And then you feel your sweet longing. And what is this longing? It's the Garden of Eden. Just saying, just being here. It's not like it's going, hey, Pernilla, come on back. It's just there all the time, forever and ever, because it's really all there is when we are not stuck in the illusion. So when I turn around and go inside, then I start sensing like, oh, wow, there's, gosh, peace. I want peace. And that's because you turn back. And when you turn back to your heart, let's say, then this Garden of Eden is here. And it's like the heart is, we can call that the portal that you can experience it through. That's like, maybe there was a portal, you left oneness into duality, and then there is a portal you can go back in. But it's always there. The portal is always wide, wide open. And it's almost like it gets wider and wider the more time we spend there, the more time we spend listening and going, oh. And then when you start sensing that longing, most of us in the beginning go like, oh, that can't be true, because we're so conditioned to go out here where there's duality and misery and limitation. So we can hardly believe that this is actually true. And I have totally been there, and I can totally still find myself in there. But the more I go here, the more real this becomes, because it is, and the more unreal this becomes, because it is unreal. So it's the practice, right? And it's the practice to not touching this out here. It's catching ourselves when we latch on to duality, to the illusion, and then we get lost in it, and then we suffer. Suffering is a very good Dharma bell going like, oh, wait a minute, something is wrong here. So that's why the longing that I have been talking about, and that is getting more and more clear and sweet for me too, that now when I wake up in the morning, I go like, oh, what do I want? It's like the first thing, and then I feel happy, it's like, oh. So I can start the morning with an openness to the Garden of Eden, to heaven, to all that is, to love. But it's because I have trained myself. And that's also why, of course, when many, many people are practicing, manifesting from the inside out. And we need to feel, right? We need to feel what it feels like when we already have it, or when we are already there. Now, what do you think you are tapping into? You're tapping into this field of oneness, this Garden of Eden, where what we are longing for is already there. Otherwise, we couldn't feel a longing for it. It's because it is there, and it is there for you and for me. And it is up to us to turn around and allow that to fill us full. Wow. So the longing is coming from, let's say, the Garden of Eden. It's always there, and it feels like a sweetness that we want because it's who we are. And then when we are so blessed that we can turn around to start contemplating or some self-inquiry about what's really true for us, we tap in to what is already here. And the more we do that, the more we open up for that which is already here, the love, the peace, the joy, the fulfillment, the abundance, the health, everything that we know we want to be happy. And rightly so, rightly so. the things that we have been experiencing out here, the opposite, some people say we need to learn something. Well, for me, the only thing I needed to learn was to let it go and turn back here. Seriously. But that's easy, right? At hindsight, because I did all that stuff, which we all do. And then you go suddenly like, why am I doing this? What do I need to learn? I'm already here. I'm already love. And then I come back. And then, of course, spending more and more time here, really allowing ourselves to be flooded with everything we long for, which equals everything we already are. And then life becomes really sweet. To me, that seems like one of the most important things on the planet right now. Not that we go out there and fight another war, obviously, or, try and change a lot of things. And they need to be changed. I'm not denying that. But that has to come from here, because otherwise we're trying to change something out here, which is still the veil. So what's the point? Maybe it's the point for a little while, so we can realize that that's not it either. But the big leap is to come back, feel your longing. The longing is the Garden of Eden, it's heaven, it's the divine, simply letting us know, I'm here. I'm already here. I am what you want. I am what you are. And that is the fulfillment. That is everything good and beautiful and loving. That's the kind of universe we live in when we are not lost in the matrix or in the veil. Now, I know for myself also that, excuse me, that getting out of the veil, that is the tricky part, because it feels more real than anything. All our five senses are all wrapped up in it, and our whole life is happening there, and we're dependent on it, or so it seems. So if you need help with unhooking from that, that is totally normal. My goodness, especially when you come to the deeper layers, which we can barely see yet, but they have a super strong grip on us. Then reach out for help. I'm here to support this tribe to do that. And you can sign up for a free 30-minute discovery session on my website if you want to check it out with me. We just connect and see if we might be a good team, where I would be a good support for you. And I would check and see if, if that would work, if you would be somebody that resonated enough that it would be helpful. So it's just a little connection, and then we can see if we want to go on from there. You're always welcome to do that. You can just go to my website, and the link for my website is in the description. So my friends, love your longing. Love your longing. Love your longing.